I think it was good for him, though, just mentally to get out of Memphis. 20th on offense, I think, is actually pretty decent for them, and shooting 37% from three is totally respectable. Part of that has been through Dillon Brooks, who has 74% true shooting on 17% usage. Pretty sure that 17% usage would be the lowest of his career by a mile. Maybe as a rookie, he was a little bit lower, though. I think his rookie year, they were tanking, and he kind of got all he could eat down the end of that year. But that 74% true shooting would certainly be a massive career high as well. Big part of that is he's 13 of 23 from three. But I didn't think that he is as bad of a shooter as he has shown at times the last couple of years, particularly in last year's playoffs. I mean, if you think about the playoffs in 21, he had a really nice series against the Utah Jazz, and he's always was a scorer coming up more than a defender. And obviously there are a lot of things that were wrong in Memphis, and perhaps it was even his comments in the media where he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. Maybe it was just the people telling him not to shoot, and he felt like he should not. And I thought that he got blamed too much for his shot selection in Memphis, because if you looked at the numbers when he played with their three stars, his usage was actually 13%. Now, he also needed to make shots during that period, which he didn't necessarily. And, of course, he poked the bear, and the bear won in last year's playoffs, and they felt like they had to reset the culture, and then he was a lot of control, etc. So I think it was good for him, though, just mentally to get out of Memphis, particularly to get that reset with Team Canada. Now, all right, he's not going to keep shooting 50% from three. I get that. If he hits 35% this year, they'll take it.
When Dillon Brooks is a career 46% converter from two, and he's at 57% so far this year, that's something else to watch.
Well, actually, I do have something on that, too, because he's not taking a bunch of bad long twos. He's taking on less than 10% of his shots as twos outside of 15 feet. So that helps you improve there. And he's not taking much more at the rim. He's not getting the line much more. So a lot of it is that he's just shooting this really good percentage for three. But that 17% usage, again, I noted how in their starting lineup, he's probably the fifth option. And ironically, despite ostensibly going to a worse team with less talent, he is a lower in the pecking order player than he was even in Memphis. But he seems to not really be forcing it too much. But mentally, maybe it's just a change of circumstance or whatever, but he's actually being efficient at hitting the shots that he's taking. So he seems to be in a good headspace. All right, what's the over-under on what he's going to shoot from three this year? I probably would still take the under on 35% just because of what the history is. But he clearly just looks more comfortable early on. And part of the reason the usage was so high in Memphis was they had no choice but to throw him the ball. And so he's not really when they throw him the ball, he just takes an open three. They're not asking him to create. He doesn't feel like he has to create, but he also seems just because he's on a different team, maybe also quite frankly, just because he got paid a lot, right? He doesn't feel like he has to press and put up numbers. So whatever it is, we'll see how long this lasts. If they have other injuries, maybe he'll take more shots, take more bad shots. The one he takes won't go in. Some of those things are going to happen to some degree or another. But as I've watched them, you just haven't seen those head scratching moments offensively that you saw on occasion, and also in part because he's just not being asked to do that stuff.